and she did sessions with this guy. They finished like the first round of their program, and she's like, cool, like, do you want to purchase more sessions? And he goes, well, I honestly thought like after this we'd be sleeping together, so.
What the?
Before we get started, we're going to hear from our sponsor of this episode, ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online. And on ZocDoc, you can search by location, availability, and insurance. So literally no compromises here, because with ZocDoc, you've got more options than you know. If I was in need of new medical care, ZocDoc is exactly what I would use. Go to ZocDoc.com/Rebecca and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Rebecca. ZocDoc.com/Rebecca. Now let's get started with this week's episode.
Greetings. I'm starting the episode with my foot on the table just because for those that can't see me, my feet are on the table because I just wanted to prove to my friends here that I'm a very unserious person and that I have no expectations for podcast episodes. I'm going to remove it right now. Actually, that was actually kind of comfortable.
Just like lack of blood flow.
Yeah, just slowly, casually, it's fine. But we have a full studio today. I don't usually have more than one person. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves? Like, I'm so happy that you're here today.
Yeah, of course. So my name is JR Warren. I'm a fitness coach. I do online coaching, a little bit of one-on-one too in person, but primarily online coaching. I've been doing it for about 3 years now. I started it during the pandemic, actually. I actually got into fitness during the pandemic.
So fun.
So I used to work a corporate 9-to-5 job, and I had gotten out of shape. I was overweight, and I was going to the gym every week. I was eating, but I had no structure. And one day I looked in the mirror, and I was just like, what am I doing? Going to the gym, hitting the weights. I'm eating healthy. I thought I was. And I just don't look in shape. I have a gut, not proportionate. And so I started studying fitness and got my NASM certification. NASM is one of the highest regarded fitness certifications that you can get.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to ask more about that later.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And during that process of studying fitness, I learned a lot about how to train my body and lose weight properly, nutrition.
Oh, cool.
And so I dropped a lot of weight. I actually got into bodybuilding at one point, did a competition. I just fell in love with fitness. And I learned so much, and I wanted to help others. And so that's how I really got into online coaching and training.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, JR and Rachel.
That's awesome. I have like the exact opposite story.
How dare you be different? Oh my gosh,
no,
Rachel.
as I'm listening, I'm like, that's hilarious. So I'm Racheal, and I'm also a personal trainer. I'm a personal training manager as well for a luxury gym brand. And so, yeah, like similar in the aspects of when you fall in love with fitness, all you want to do is share that. Like, it really is this journey of being like, oh my gosh, I changed my life and I felt so good. I cannot wait to share this with others. So I had a background in dance, and I was doing performing arts pretty much full time up until the pandemic. Life shut down. I went insane. Not really, but
a little bit.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, I think we all went insane.
As everyone. But going from a life full of movement to a life that was so sedentary, working like my part-time jobs, I was like, I can't do it. So my brother was actually a trainer at the time, and I went to visit him, and I started going to the gym, and I was like, oh, it's crazy. Like, if you apply yourself and you have some structure around it and you actually are consistent, you can see results. My results were completely different. Like, I had an eating disorder forever, and I was severely underweight. So my therapist literally said, you have 3 months to get your shit together, or we're going to get it together for you. And so, like, that was the wait list for inpatient treatment. And I was like, well, I don't have money for that. I'm going to get a gym membership. I got my certification through NASM as well, because I'm really stubborn. And I was like, I don't want to ask for help. I'm just going to learn and do this on my own. Yeah. And I texted my brother and I said, where do I go? And he goes, you can't go in person because of the pandemic. He goes, NASM. NASM is 100% the way to go. You're going to get a sponsorship from them by the end of this podcast.
I hope so, yeah.
And yeah, I just fell in love with it and started in 2021 in-person coaching. I opened a new Equinox location in Studio City and got promoted to management this year. So
Congratulations,
awesome.
Rachel.
thank you. Very like in person, worked on gaining weight, gaining muscle.
Yeah.
But, especially in LA, I'm sure JR can relate. There's such like a standard of how you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to act, and especially helping women kind of break out of what that looks like to them has been really cool and really powerful. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
same
I
but
love
different.
that.
Yeah.
So, like, I have so many questions. My brain is so overwhelmed. It's fine. You're an ADHD.
You're doing great.
So, like, how does one become a personal trainer? Like, you guys were talking about NASM certifications. Like, I want to know, and I'm sure so many people don't actually know, like, what does it mean to be a personal trainer? Because you see so many people online that are like, hey, fitness tips, nutrition tips, but they don't actually have any certifications or anything like that. Like, what sets apart someone who gets a certification, and what do those certifications look like from someone who doesn't?
Totally.
You
can go first. I'm sure we have. I could talk on this because I do the interviewing process for training as well. But you go first. You go first.
So there's a lot of Instagram personal trainers, TikTok
Right.
personal trainers, and sometimes you can't differentiate the two.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, they look good and they're posting, but
Right.
that's just social media, right? And
Exactly.
you see people doing the wacky workouts, like do this, do that, and a lot of times I'm scrolling through and I'm like, what is this? This is not even really helping you. This is not a genuine workout. Or they're just giving you the surface level. This is how you get in shape. They're not really going deeper. Someone that's certified really knows how to help someone get to where they're going at. And they're going to give you steps and a guide as opposed to just do this workout and you'll have abs. This is the one move you need to do to get a bigger booty, right?
Yeah, I see
And, like,
so many of those
and then
videos.
people just
It's
fall.
an injection.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people
That's
have
the move.
people are on steroids, people have BBLs, and people like the
Ozempic.
yeah, so
GLP-1.
many things, and the average person that doesn't work out sees that and it's like, oh, I want to, right? It's visual.
It's
Like, this
like
is
a
my
quick
dream
instant
body.
gratification.
Exactly.
Kind of. Like, what can I do that's really quick that produces results?
Exactly, and they're fooling these people. Like, you have to put the work in, and that's where I come in as a personal trainer. I'm like, I tell my clients, you have to put the work in, consistency, dedication. I pick and choose who I train, because if you're not willing to put the work in, I'm not training you, because I know it's a process. I've been there. I've been overweight. I've been underweight. I know what it takes to get to whatever goals you're trying to achieve with your body. But yeah, the difference is when you're certified, you actually go through, and this goes for people who have degrees too in kinesiology or sports medicine. Those people know so much, and just going through that process of getting certified, you learn so much about your body and nutrition. They're actually able to help people on a deeper level instead of just surface level. This is what you should do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do those certifications look like? Is there one certification that you should strive for? Is there a bunch of different ones? Like, what is that?
Totally. That's kind of where I was going to go with the answer to that question.
Perfect.
So
Yes,
you're like,
manager.
what does it take to be a personal trainer?
Yeah.
Literally a certification is
Okay.
really all it takes to claim that title. What does it take to be a good personal trainer is a completely different question,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So-
Please answer this for me. I am intrigued. I was like, oh yeah, just certification. I was like, oh wait, there's more.
So if I don't know if we've ever talked about frisbee golf.
No.
This is gonna seem unrelated. You can become a professional frisbee golf player by just paying $75 online and getting a little
Really?
card that says you are a
professional frisbee.
Professional
yeah.
frisbee golf player.
And I was like, that's hilarious to me because no other sport can you just pay a fee. But kind of along those lines, I could go and pay $75 for this piece of paper, but I can't throw a frisbee.
Right.
I genuinely cannot. I go with Ben and Ryan and I'm the caddy.
That's wild.
Yeah, frisbee golf, not my thing. So, I mean, the certifications are kind of the same way. If you can pass a test, you can get a certification, really. Unless you're doing NPTI, which is the National Personal Training Institute, which is an online or an in-person schooling. There's different certifications. So NASM is the most highly regarded, as JR mentioned earlier, because it is so thorough.
Okay.
It has a more holistic approach, movement, nutrition, regeneration. It stands for the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And then there's a few other ones as well. There's ACE, ISSA. There's so many when you go online. And as long as they're accredited, they're all valid as far as going to train, applying to gyms, so on and so forth. Some of them you can sit down and crank out in 48 hours. Some of them you have to put in the time
Apply
and work.
yourself, yeah.
So that's just something too as a client, like going in knowing
what kind of certification your trainer has. That's important.
Totally.
Okay.
So there is a bunch, and kind of when I started, I was like, I just wanted the certification to teach myself. And then I was looking at where I wanted to work, and I was like, oh, okay, like I want to work at places that have a high esteem for their trainers. Like they have a good reputation. These are the brands I want to be associated with. So I'm going to apply myself to get this more in-depth certification so I can do well there. And like this might be getting ahead, but when you have your certification, you have to recertify every 2 years.
Right.
So in those 2 years, you have to either take college classes, get specialty certifications, or continue your education in some way. So there's a lot of layers that go into
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
And everyone has like their different specialties and like things that they lean into and things that attract them to it. So
do you see my face? I'm like so fascinated because like it's personal training is one of those things where like you always know there are personal trainers, but I've never thought about it, you know?
Totally.
Like, and I feel like that's the case for everyone in jobs that they don't do. Like, but that's the whole point of this, right? Like, is like, is understanding this. I love that. So, like, there's so many different certifications.
Yeah.
Do you think within the personal training world, like, is it like, oh, we're all trainers, we're all working together to better the world? Or do you think there's like, oh, we're NASMs. We, like, is there like, we have NASMs?
I feel that way. I'm like, I'm above you guys. You guys are peasants. I'm NASM certified. I'm going to put that in my bio on Instagram.
I'm NASM.
Oh, you're not. Instagram all the time. I mean, like, we see it in the, like, the commercial gyms. Like, oh, I work for this gym, or oh, I work for this gym.
So there's, like, clickiness in, like, the personal trainer world.
Yes and no. I mean, so. Okay. It's,
yeah.
See, for me, I'm like,
it
really depends on the person. Like, it depends on your own ego. Like, if you come to it and you're like, I'm the best trainer overall, then you're going to see it that way. But if you have a, like, my viewpoint is always, not every client is right for every trainer, and not every trainer is right for every client.
Okay.
Like,
well, we're talking about certifications, right? Not just
like
clients in general.
Yeah, but
well,
there's
like trainers in general.
Oh, trainers
like,
in general. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have some opinions on like certain certifications, but that's also why I chose what I chose, right?
Right.
As
you should. Like, you should feel passionate about what you're doing. Like, I think that's healthy to have like a level of passion.
Totally.
Do you think that like a trainer's attitude in general kind of has to do with like their reason for being in personal training? Like, I feel like there are so many different intentions, if that makes sense. Like, on one sphere, someone could go into personal training for the vanity of it, for like the physical appearance, for the in shape, while on another sphere, someone could go in for the health and nutrition. And like, I feel like there's so many reasons to go into personal training. Do you think like I
see a lot of that on social media, and it kind of bothers me when I see that. Like,
really?
Oh, this guy's just a personal trainer so he can be around women. You know, so he wants to train women.
So that's like a misconception about like personal
absolutely.
training. Okay.
And I see that in a lot of comments. Like, don't let your girl have a guy personal trainer. They're probably going to be sleeping together. They're going to get really close. Like,
is that a thing?
It definitely is. Especially if you're a good-looking personal trainer, it's for sure a thing.
This used to be like such a thing. Me and my client were just talking about this. Like, I'm very close to my clients. They're some of my best friends. We were just talking about, like, especially in, like, the 90s, early 2000s, like, there used to be a lot of scandal with, like, having affairs with your trainer. You know, or, like, the having an affair with your, like, tennis coach. Like, that same type of thing, right?
Even now.
Yeah, but I don't think it's as bad now. I mean, again, this also...
What about Tom Brady's wife? She was dating her instructor.
Also, like, very different. Like, working in a commercial gym setting versus working individually and working online are two very different worlds. Like, when my trainers get set up with a client, like, they are very, actually, one of my trainers, I love him. He puts in so much work. Like, he shows up every day. He works... He's doing everything right. And in 1 week, he had 2 new clients be like, so I've been thinking about it, and I actually think I want a female trainer instead. And, like, just heartbreak. Absolute heartbreak. Because he put in the work. I mean, building your business is so, so hard. Like putting in the work. There is such a sales aspect to this job.
Well, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so that's
Like, what is it like building your business? Sorry. I
Right.
just
No, it's
interrupted
okay.
you.
That's kind of like where it comes into play. Like whatever certification you get, like is going to come in after the building your business part. Like you have to be able to sell yourself. You have to know about marketing. You like when you work for a commercial gym, you have an association with that brand already that you're expected to live up to. But you still have to find what makes you special within that team, right? How are you going to appeal to the person sitting in front of you? What's the word? Mission statement I've created for my team is build rapport, create trust, deliver results.
Oh, I like that.
So in the
awesome.
selling aspect, you're building the rapport. In the complimentary sessions, you're creating trust, and then you retain your clients by delivering results.
That's dope.
So it's a hang up for a lot of trainers.
Right.
The selling aspect and the building your business aspect. And the gym I work at, I mean, I don't think I'm fine associating with Equinox. Like, so Equinox. No, at Equinox, we expect our trainers to build their own business.
Right.
And a lot of other gyms, like my brother used to work for LA Fitness, and he would actually sell training and hand off clients to trainers and build the business for the trainers. So there's lots of different ways to do it. I think you're going to have a lot more retention and a lot more value with your clients if you are the one that has built that business up. But it's definitely not the most appealing part of the job. I mean, you could talk about it more from like a...
Yeah, that's dope, man. Are you guys hiring? Because you sound like you're a very good hands-on manager.
He's got the Naxum thing.
And he's NASM.
Naxum, I'm saying it wrong. They're not going to want me now.
I've been doing this for a little bit now. But I had actually had a bad experience working at a commercial gym.
Yeah.
My first job after getting my certification, like I want to work for a gym and get my feet wet training clients. And so I got a job at a commercial gym. I'm not going to name drop them.
Yeah.
Don't want to get sued or anything. But
Me over here like name dropping left and right.
Hey,
it was not Equinox.
Whatever
Okay?
you're comfortable with.
We're talking about upper echelon. Equinox is like the creme de la creme.
Yeah,
This gym was
Rachel.
like,
not that great. Cool.
yeah, they're
right,
like,
right.
I showed up to an interview in the suit. They had my certification. They're like, you're hired. I was like, okay. You're not going to ask me any questions or anything. But
Weird.
so yeah, they assigned me some clients like the first week. 0 training, like none. They're like, just go on the floor and do what you do. I'm like, okay. Like, they gave me like an older person, a younger person, like a mix of clients. And so thank God I knew how to work out. So I just started working them out. And they're just all about sales. Like, just work them out, give them some exercises. And in the back of my head, I'm like, we're not really helping
this person?
We're not
Like,
helping these people.
Yeah.
Like, they're paying this money to get trained and make an impact on their life physically. And I'm not really helping them. So I was there for about a month. And that's when I had the realization of, I'm going to start my own business. Because I really, truly want to see people change. And
I love that.
And this is not it. So that was a bad experience, and that's part of the reason why I started my own online coaching and doing my own personal training for people. So that, like I said, I only take certain clients who are willing to put the work in.
I had a kind of similar experience before I got started at Equinox, and I just kind of realized, and one of my managers put it so well, like, you have to put the personal in personal training. Yeah. Like, if you're not doing an assessment with an intake with people and you're not cultivating a program specific to their needs, to their body's movement patterns, to their injuries, then what are you doing? Like, you're just trying to get a client and make money. Like,
exactly.
that's not how this works.
It's so disappointing.
Yeah, and personal training is not cheap. Like, it is a luxury expense, regardless of where you're doing it. So it's, you want someone who, like, thank God that you were the one that took care of those people, because like, if you didn't know what you were doing and you had this wide variety of clients and somebody comes in with a injury or an ailment and they're with a trainer who doesn't have the vetting, like,
they're just wasting their money.
Yeah, and it's irresponsible.
We're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsor of this episode, ZocDoc. We all know there are things in life you need to compromise on. Like on an apartment that's in your budget, but with a neighbor upstairs who likes to play the drums. But when it comes to your health, there shouldn't be a compromise. So don't go back to that doctor that uses your appointment time to catch up on their crossword puzzle. Instead, check out ZocDoc, a place where you can find and book doctors who will listen to you, make you feel comfortable, and prioritize your health. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online. And on ZocDoc, you can search by location, availability, and insurance. So literally no compromises here, because with ZocDoc, you've got more options than you know. If I was in need of new medical care, ZocDoc is exactly what I would use. Go to ZocDoc.com/Rebecca and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Rebecca. ZocDoc.com/Rebecca. Now, back to the episode.
It might be,
Very irresponsible.
but I won't bother.
So then for someone, like, to keep other people from, like, getting bamboozled by bad or lesser gyms or whatever, or like people who may not be as certified at all, or as certified as they maybe should be, what services should a good personal trainer offer? Like, what should go into that? What should a person expect to get for that luxury service?
I'll let you go first.
All right, cool. I think like some sort of intake or assessment, as I said, like the very first time you meet with your personal trainer, very little movement should be done, like light movements. Looking at how your body moves, getting an understanding for if you have any imbalances, if you have one side that's more dominant than the other, really talking about your goals, getting a medical history, getting an exercise history, understanding who you are as a human being and creating that connection as like human to human. If someone is just taking you straight out on the floor and throwing weight at you, that is a massive red flag. Okay. Like, absolutely, they don't know you. And to be 100% honest, like, and I tell my trainers this all the time, like, the average person is so disconnected from their body. They'll be like, they know they're in pain, they know they're uncomfortable, but to know actually what's happening, the odds of that happening are very, very slim. So I'm constantly emphasizing with my trainers, I'm like, okay, someone comes in and has back pain, like, what are you going to do? And, like, if they're not asking me, like, or if they're not telling me, I'm going to look at their posterior chain and see if their hips are tight. I'm going to ask them what their work-life balance is like. I'm going to see if they have any thoracic rotation happening. If those aren't the questions that they're asking, I'm telling them, I'm like, no, we're not, like, we need to ask these questions. We need to have a good understanding of what's happening in this person's body, because all they know is they're uncomfortable and they're in pain. And it's our job as the professionals to be in preventative care. I mean, personal training is a preventative care. And actually, a lot of HSAs are letting you use that money on personal training now, which is so cool. Yeah, so it's finally being seen as preventative for things like type 2 diabetes, COPD, like cardiac diseases, and also like injuries, and I mean, so many things. Yeah,
such a good investment into your well-being.
Yeah, like selling me on this.
I'm like, oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be like strenuous activity either. It's just being active, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly what she said. I do the same thing. Preventative maintenance. What's your health history? Which I think we were referring to with the overhead squat assessment that you do.
FMS. Functional movement screen.
Yeah, when you just tell someone to do a squat, and you can look at them by their squat position, like how far they go, like if they have any imbalances and whatnot. You look at that, and then you can kind of design the plan around that on how you want to help them. A lot of times I'll ask my clients, what do you want to work on? And then depending on that, whether or not they want to gain weight, lose weight, you know, maintain muscle in a particular area or maintain their weight, then I'll create a plan based off of that.
So, like, is personal training in general, like, is it mostly like exercise? Do you also do nutrition, or is that like a completely separate field? What does that look like? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but like so much of weight also has to do with your diet, which took me a long time to figure that out as well.
Abs are made in the kitchen.
Yes.
I literally was talking to Rebecca, and I was like, you look so good. And she's like, wait, I changed my diet.
I changed my diet completely. Like, yes.
Yeah. You can go first on this one because
Okay. It's very cliche, but you hear the term abs are made in the kitchen. Well, they are. I'm sorry to put it that way, but it is. There's a lot of different diets out there, keto diet, intermittent fasting. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I think the best way to nutrition is counting your macros, because that's how I did it. And a lot of people go on these diets, and it always comes back to counting your macros and planning out what you're eating. But for NASM, there is 2 separate certifications. You have your personal training, then you also get a nutrition cert.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's
okay.
not lumped into one certification.
Okay,
You have to get
you
them
can
separately.
get both, or you can get either or.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. So it's separate.
Interesting.
But still, even when you get a cert in nutrition, you're not certified in California. You're not able to give nutrition advice. They make that clear.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So and I was like, this is an interesting question because it is so dependent on the trainer, right?
Right.
So my certification, because my job reimburses me, is through Precision Nutrition,
Okay.
which is so hard to say. So I just
Okay.
call it Precision Nutrition. But my certification is through Precision Nutrition, and so I'm a certified nutritionist, but I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a registered dietitian. So I can do nutrition coaching, but I can't make a meal plan.
Okay.
So a lot of it is scope of practice, right?
Right.
Like there is a very well-rounded view to training. Again, movement, nutrition, and regeneration. What does that look like? And creating a well-balanced plan for your client involves regeneration. Like, when are you resting? How are you resting? What's your sleep look like? So there's different scopes of practices depending on your certifications. But yeah, I come from a very disordered eating background, so I always say don't count your calories, be mindful of your macros. And when I'm working with my clients right off the bat, when we're talking about their nutrition habits, I always say, I ask them about it, I make a note, and I say, do you feel full? Are you happy? And are you enjoying what you're eating? And if the answer to those 3 are yes, then I'm like, cool. We'll revisit in 6 weeks. If we're not seeing any progress, then we'll start to dive a little bit deeper into your nutrition.
Macros, yeah, that makes sense.
Because people come in and they're like, oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting. And I'm like, it's not my favorite, but I know everyone's different. So like, if this is something that's working for you, cool. As long as you are happy and healthy and not hungry, I'm happy with that. So yeah, it just, again, depends on the trainer, depends on the client.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So we talked about, so you said don't count calories, count macros, like abs are made in the gym, or abs are made in the kitchen.
yeah.
Like we've talked a lot about like misconceptions within the fitness world and personal training. Do you think there are any other misconceptions when it either comes to fitness or just your job as personal trainers, other than like they don't all sleep with their clients?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, there's a ton. People think like, oh, he's a personal trainer, like he's been doing this in his entire life. That's why he's built. That's why he looks athletic. It's genetics. But that's not the case at all. Like if anything, I have the worst genetics. Like my dad was obese, heart disease. My mom was obese. Like didn't work out much. I was very skinny growing up, insecure. I had to put the work in.
Yeah.
I was not like this out of my mother's womb. I had to work my way up to that.
Just like that?
The tattoos came later.
Yeah, the piercings weren't just there.
Crazy.
Wow.
Science.
wish.
I never would have thought.
But yeah, you got to put the work in. So that's the biggest misconception on here. Oh, you're just born like that, like genetics. Like, no, I'm not. I wasn't always a freakish athlete. Some people are. Some people are blessed with good genetics.
Some people are blessed. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of extra effort. It's actually funny that you say that, and I'm going to pause real quick because another trainer sent me a story. It's funny you say you have to put the work in.
Yeah.
Someone sent me a story about how they had a client, and they went through all the planning and the prepping and putting together all these routines and sessions. But when she got there, she mostly just kind of sat on her phone. Like, she wasn't really interested in any of the exercises. She's like, I don't like sweating. Like, I don't want to, this is too heavy.
Oh, my God.
And she mostly just kind of sat on her phone.
The worst type of client.
People. People are great. People are great.
I love
and
people.
this
I really
personal
do.
trainer was just like, hey, okay, like I can't physically force you to do anything, but you know, this is your time, this is your money, you're paying for these sessions. Like, I would really like to help you. Well, this goes on for a few weeks, and the client calls and says, hey, we need to talk. Okay, what's going on? I've been coming to see you for 6 weeks now, and I don't see any results. And I thought that you were really reputable, but I'm not seeing anything in my body change.
Oh, come
so,
on.
you know, maybe you're not as good of a trainer as you think that you are. And she's like, you don't do anything, man. What do you mean? Like, you sit on your phone in the corner. Like, just because you pay the bill doesn't mean that it just converts to exercise. Like,
the entitlement.
Could you imagine, though?
Yeah,
I mean,
just pay
actually,
this bill.
Well, it happens more than often than you think.
Well, I was like, could you imagine just swiping your card and losing weight, but then
like
Ozempic,
like
GLP-1 is literally that.
What's the surgery? The
BBO.
LASIK is what I said.
There's a lot.
No, lipo.
Yeah, that's what I was
lipo,
thinking
yeah.
of. I couldn't think of it. And like, that exists. But like, if you wanted to swipe your card and lose weight, I guess go do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
why?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
And like you said earlier, instant gratification.
Yes.
Like, I got a trainer, I want to get in shape, but they don't want to put the work in.
Well,
And that's
yes. I was just talking to Racheal last year. I was just here in June. And I was literally
Oh my gosh, remember?
borderline in
That conversation.
You have to tell that story.
I don't even know if
Okay.
I remember it.
I do. So when I was here last June, I was like borderline in tears, Racheal. I'm like, I don't understand. I'm trying so hard. Like, I work out every day. I don't understand why I'm not like seeing more results. And like, it can be so frustrating, but like, I know that I was putting in the work, and that was when I really needed to look at my diet, and I needed to figure out, okay, what was I eating? Like, I had no idea what I was putting into my body. Like, I feel like people who like don't pay attention, you really don't know until you actually pay attention. And I was like, oh. And literally, I just changed my diet a little bit. I didn't even do very much. I still eat what I want to eat.
No, it doesn't.
And that literally 15 pounds.
Yeah,
Wow.
unless you're like actively trying to be a bodybuilder, and this is what I tell my clients all the time. I'm like, none of what we do in here matters if you can't enjoy what's out there.
Right.
Like, if you're just looking for like wellness and having a good quality lifestyle and feeling confident,
right,
it is so little that you have to change.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's another misconception that like. You don't have to
be perfect.
Some people enjoy all the diets out there.
Yeah.
Some people like that kind of food. Some people, they feel fulfilled, but you don't have to.
No.
And that's okay.
That's true.
That's all right.
That's true.
I told one of my clients, he was like, yeah, we were talking, he's like one of my favorite clients. I absolutely adore him. He's 61 years old. He just hit a new deadlift PR of 235 pounds.
Okay, Brian, there you go.
Yeah, he's an absolute badass. But we were talking about his weight loss goals. We were just trying to get him under 200. He's like, I'm not trying to have any extreme weight loss. I like my life. I like going out to eat with my wife. And so I was like, okay, talk to me a little bit about like what you eat. And he mentioned that he has a martini and a glass of wine every night. And I was like, dude, just pick one. Just pick one.
That's true.
Like, you just pick one of them. You don't. And he's like, okay, like, I like the wine because me and my wife share it. And so he just started drinking just the wine and not the martini and lost 15 pounds.
Small steps.
Like, yeah, it's just the little things where it's like.
A lot of people don't realize how much calories are in drinks.
Any other misconceptions about fitness, personal training that you want to touch on before I ask a different question?
I would just say, like, the biggest thing that I see is people are like, oh, I have to be in the gym 3 hours a day. I have to be perfect with my diet. And I'm like, actually, the biggest, like, chunk of calories your body burns is from your metabolic rate, from your metabolism. So when you gain muscle, your metabolism goes up, and then you don't have to work as hard, which is the nice part, right? Right? Crazy.
Oh, that's
So your metabolism is the bulk of your calorie expenditure, and then it's actually the things we do like laundry, walking our dog, cleaning the house, grocery shopping, the things we do on our feet, moving around throughout the day, and then it's what you do in the gym. So being intentional about what you do in the gym in order to gain muscle will help more with your body recomposition than going and walking on the treadmill for
That's so true.
3 hours.
If you have a lot of muscle mass and you're just sitting there, your body is burning calories.
Yeah.
You don't have to do as much cardio.
It
But you
takes
should
a
still
lot.
aim to get 6,000 to 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
My husband always says that if he could give me anything, he wishes he
muscle.
could give me his metabolism.
Oh.
Avery, so it's so funny because he does professional pickleball stuff now. You've met Avery.
Yeah.
That's
He's very
insane.
skinny.
He's very lean.
His metabolism is so high.
That is insane.
He's never been able to gain weight, and now that he's not only playing pickleball professionally now, but now he coaches for like 6 hours a day, and he loves it.
Yeah.
But he is running around the court all
Protein shakes.
day.
That's a good problem
all
to have
day.
because you just eat
All,
and like
he's
not have to worry
if I
about what
could
you're
give you
eating.
anything, Rebecca, I would give you my metabolism. I'm like, well, you know what? Try harder, okay?
Do
Try
better.
harder.
Why is
Like,
that? Do you not eat a lot or?
He hates the activity of eating.
Okay.
I love tasting food. It's weird. I don't know.
No, I understand
Like
you.
yeah, and it's like, but like I don't know how to explain because I don't know how to put it into words. Like today, and you're gonna yell at me. I'm so sorry. Today I've had like a bowl of pineapple, but it's just because I'm like when I'm in work mode.
Yeah.
That's it. Come on, you can do better than that.
I'm going to the Cheesecake Factory after this.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
We're going to that
good.
Cheesecake
That's a
Factory.
lot of
Yeah.
calories in that.
Yeah.
You can eat
Is that where we're going?
Yeah, it is.
I just
Just
invited
invite
myself.
yourself.
No, I
Well,
invited
she
you-
invited me the other day,
Yeah,
and then I
invited
couldn't go.
her. Yeah, we're going to Nathan's and we're going to the Cheesecake Factory because I said, let's go get pie. And Nathan said, that's far from my house. Let's go eat cheesecake. And I said, that sounds amazing. So I will be eating
And Nathan
food.
did say, what are you doing today? So I think I'm invited.
You
I
are
That's the
invited.
first thing I had when I did my first bodybuilding tournament, and I had the strictest diet. Yep. I was like, give me a slice of Cheesecake Factory Oreo cookie,
I want the
and it was
tuxedo.
the best thing I ever had in my life.
I wanted to do bodybuilding so badly, and then it's so expensive.
It is.
For one.
It's expensive
Like
sport.
it is so expensive, especially for women, because the bikini is
Oh
like
yeah,
$750.
I heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
So instead, I ran a half marathon.
Why is it so expensive?
Glam,
know.
bikini,
Oh, it's,
spray
like,
tans,
so, like-
makeup, all that stuff.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like accessories that go with it, but the bikini itself is so expensive because it's basically made to your body to show off because it's an aesthetics competition.
Yeah.
Like it's an extreme sport and then you compete in aesthetics. So
Oh.
you have to be able to show off your body. It's very personalized, but it costs so much. And then they're like bedazzled.
Yeah.
So it's not like a swimsuit that's bedazzled. They're like handmade for bodybuilding competitions.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
custom.
And then the men show up in like their little like
I
swim
got
trunks.
my trunks off of Amazon for like $5.
And then you have to wear like the big stripper heels.
Yeah.
Not the men. The women.
Oh, darn. How unfortunate.
Just walks out in the
Oh no, I
and
wouldn't do it.
7-inch
Stripper
heels.
heels.
Oh my gosh. That's a
Did we
whole
just make up a new
world.
sport?
I think we did.
that'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
good for
I
us.
love that.
Copyrighted. The new sport, walking in heels for men.
As you should. We're gonna start. That's what
It's
we're
a new
doing
NASM
at-
certification.
Yeah. Well, so as personal trainers, have you ever come into contact clients that just made your life way more difficult than they needed to be?
Yes.
You wanna?
So this is where I lean back on the not every client is right for every trainer.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Agree.
For me, like the big one is if I have female clients that are struggling with their body dysmorphia
Yeah.
or have a really bad relationship with food and they don't realize it. I've had clients like straight up look me up and down and be like, well, I don't want to look like you.
What? I think you look
heck?
perfect.
Which is like,
so rude.
I went into the bathroom and cried after and then talked to my therapist about it.
That is so rude.
Yeah. So I'm like, I've had some of those situations where I'm like, oh, okay. All right, maybe you would do better with a male trainer. You know, just because I'm like, okay, that eliminates the comparison of bodies during
Right.
this session.
Yeah.
And if you are comparing yourself to the male trainer in front of you, then like we need to dig deeper into
Yes.
this. Like
Right.
this
Yeah.
is a different thing. And I was like, a male trainer is going to hear that and be like, cool, I don't want to look like you either. So like we're
Yeah.
good.
Exactly.
So that was like the big thing. And I mean, I work with a lot of high schoolers and I love my high schoolers. They are so stubborn. I mean, speaking of being
are.
on your phone the whole day, I have one girl and she knows, she always says, am I your sassiest client? And I'm like, I love that that's your goal. But she'll be like, hold on, I need to find a good mirror to take this photo.
Oh
And, like,
my god.
It's so funny, and I love it. But
Self-confidence.
yeah, 100%. And I encourage it because I'm like, why not? Like, live your life.
you're proud of
Yeah.
your results. Yeah,
Live your best
hell
life.
Absolutely.
I support you.
Be confident in
Right.
that.
Exactly.
In
Take that gym
change.
selfie.
Yeah.
Post yourself.
Exactly. And then we have weeks where I'm like, nope, I'm holding your phone this week. Give it to me. So I feel like when I was first starting, I took things a lot more personally. I got a lot more frustrated with myself. I had less of an understanding. And the more I've worked with different types of people, the better I've become at communicating and overcoming those more difficult conversations or like now that I'm actually coaching other trainers on how to have those difficult conversations as well, like firing clients. Like that is a very like hard conversation to have with somebody.
You gotta be choosy.
Yeah.
With
and
your clients.
One of my friends, his way of firing his clients, he will like wait until their sessions have run out and he'll be like, you know, you've made a lot of good progress. I think you're ready to do this on your own. He's like, I treat it like a graduation.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's very smart.
And then
at the end of the day, the client is a reflection of you.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's why you have to choose who you're going to train.
Totally. Because everyone's always watching too.
Yeah.
They're like,
Interesting.
You don't want them name dropping you out in public. Oh, yeah, like, JR is my trainer, and they're, like, overweight and obese, not putting the work in. And it's like, that's my reputation there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got to make sure you're going to put the work in before I choose you. So we're choosing each other.
yeah. I was like, and again, this is where it comes down to like very different experiences being a private trainer versus being in a
of course.
commercial gym. Because like the conversations we're having, like, we're very big on with our trainers, like, be mindful of who you are associated with in the gym because all eyes are on you. And if someone's considering personal training and they see you and you're with maybe a member who is a little bit more problematic or a member who is a little bit more out there, like what is that reflection on you and your business, right? Or if you are just like constantly bringing friends in from outside and not really connecting with the members, you're very in your own bubble, like what you do and how you carry yourself is a direct reflection of how you run your business. And I think that's true in pretty much any profession.
Yeah.
Like when you are in kind of a more autonomous industry. But yeah.
So I've had
Clients.
I've had a nightmare client. Actually, I have a story to tell.
Oh, I love.
So most of my following on socials is females.
Mm-hmm.
Like 70% of my following is females. But I prefer to train guys. But I also do train females because I know how to train the body in general.
Right.
So I had a lot of females reaching out to me for training one-on-one. And I had one particular female reach out, like, I want in-person training. Like, I'll pay whatever. I'm not going to name drop them. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, what are you looking to work on? She was like, I'm obese. I want to lose some weight, gain some muscle on my ass. You know, a lot of girls want that. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do it. So we meet up the first time at the gym in person. And the entire time, she's, like, super nervous and, like, making comments like, I can't believe you're here in person. I'm like, okay, like, this is getting a little weird. And she's, like, shaking and sweating. I'm like, are you okay? Do I need to call 911? She's like, I'm having heart palpitations. I'm like, why? She's like, because you're next to me. I'm like,
Oh no.
like, we're here to work out, okay? Like,
This is like a professional relationship.
yeah, exactly. And I try to be 100%. You can ask any of my clients, professional. Like, I do not cross boundaries. Like, I put a lot of respect on me and my business.
Yeah.
And the entire session was just that. Was just, I can't believe you're here. Oh my God, you're here in person. Like, you're so attractive in person. I'm like, and she wasn't putting the work in, which was bothering me. I was like, all right, can we focus? This is what you have to do. And long story short, she ended up not going through the program. And then,
Oh, shocker.
right, and she did, because I didn't want to train her in person. It was like
Yeah,
you said earlier, you have to fire your client. I was like,
Yeah.
I had that tough conversation with her, like, listen, you're not putting the work in. And she was like, I want my money back. And I'm like, no, like, I gave you the entire program. We trained.
I did my part.
Yeah, like, I tried to set up other sessions with you. I tried to train you online. I was meeting with you one-on-one, but you weren't doing your part. And so I was like, never again. So now when I vet my clients, I'm like, what is your intentions? Like, what are we here to do? I'm here to help you. Like,
Yeah. You have to.
yeah.
Totally. I mean, I am so lucky. And when I switched locations, like, even the trainers from the previous location I worked at, when I talk to them, every single time they're like, the clients that I handed off, they're like, oh my gosh, they're the best. And I literally, I have the best clients. Like, I don't know, maybe I just attract those people in my life. Like, I'll take it if that's the case.
Fabulous?
Like, am I just great? Am I hot, funny, and humble?
Oh my goodness.
All the above, yeah. Hype
But
yourself up.
I really was lucky. I was very, very lucky with the types of clients I got. But I have heard horror stories, and like not related to me at all. But there is a girl I know who is a trainer, and she's an incredible trainer. Like so freaking smart.
Yeah.
Puts in the work. So dedicated to her clients. And she did sessions with this guy, and they finished like the first round of their program. And she's like, "Cool. Like, do you want to purchase more sessions? Do you want to continue this relationship?" And he goes, "Well, I honestly thought like after this we'd be sleeping together." So
What the that is like, that's the misconceptions.
People
Yes.
are so gross.
people like it's this interesting thing.
That's
Like
horrible.
it's a
It
weirdly
actually makes me sick.
yeah. There's some aspects of it that are like weirdly sexualized, and like to an extent I get it, but like.
No, that guy.
No. Not saying with him, like
No.
the sexualization of the industry. But I also see like a lot of people on social media, and this is like totally derailing, and I apologize.
No, that's okay.
Say that they're fitness influencers and they're just doing OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Or they say fitness model and it's just OnlyFans.
And it ruins it for the people that are really taking the profession serious.
And I'm like,
that's
you're
what
not
bothers me.
a fitness model. Like you're just hot, which is fine. Like be
Right,
hot.
like be happy,
get that bag. Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
But like, don't
but you're not a
misrepresent.
fitness.
Right.
Right.
You're not a fitness instructor. You're not a personal trainer.
You're not certified.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they might be. They might
Okay.
and they might be a professional disc golf player as well. Like they might. They might have it all going for them. But I think that being the accessible information that people are receiving, they're like, "Oh, when I see fitness models and fitness influencers on Instagram, they're naked."
Mm-hmm.
Or when I see fitness models and fitness
interesting.
like influencers on Instagram or whatever it is, like I can pay more. When I pay them, they give me that.
Yeah.
Because there is this
Interesting.
association with OnlyFans
I'm
and
gonna look like them. Yeah.
yeah. So I think like that's a slippery slope of being like, no, we are actually in like the preventative care sect of the medical field. I'm not going to say we're in the medical field because that's a
yeah.
gross overstatement. But that's where it's unfortunate, where it's like, we are here to help you so you don't fall into this category of like
Right.
being ill, being in like the morbid, high risk of morbidity or whatever. And there's this online, I mean, for me, like anytime I got a DM on any social media and it was like, "Hey, I always see you at the gym. Like, I want to do my sessions with you." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Here's my professional email address. Like, you can email me." And like, I know, I'm like, I'm more than happy to get those set up for you.
Yep.
And I just leave it at that. And never once have I heard back from any of these men.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, that's not what you actually wanted.
Exactly.
Like,
Like, this is a professional business.
don't use my job against me.
No. And it's like, it's gross because like that just shows that it's like they just see you as a sexual object. And
Yeah.
that's so gross and unfortunate,
Yeah.
especially when like personal trainers just like take their job so seriously, as you should.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's
I mean,
a professional
I don't take anything seriously.
thing.
If I were to, yeah.
Yeah, like this is a professional career.
Yes. Like, this
And
is my job.
that's so grimy. That's like the people that are like, well, sometimes I go on Reddit and I see bad teacher. Like, no.
Yeah. No, it's
No.
like,
No.
right. That's
Gross.
not how all teachers
Shut up.
are.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's not what they're here for.
It's just
like
the 1%
people-
ruining it for everyone
it's-
else.
It's people who like use a sexy image to like create these gross stereotypes in jobs. That's just
Right. 'Cause
so unfortunate.
sex sells.
So unfortunate.
Unfortunately.
yeah. And you know what it is? Like, if someone were to say to me, like, if the message said, "Hey, I see you in the gym. Like, I really appreciate the work you do, and I think you're really attractive. Like, I would love to get to know you." That would be
That's
so different.
Yeah, and then I would turn around and be like, "Actually, I'm not allowed to date members," which is in my employee handbook. Here's a photocopy of it. But like
Yeah.
that would be my
Right.
rejection.
Right.
But it's being just upfront about your intentions.
Well, it's like talking to you like you're a person and not an object.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
that's, yeah.
I think a lot of, and this is so off base, but like, I think so many people are just scared of rejection. They're like, oh, if I come to you as a client.
Right.
you
Something
can't
might
say
happen.
no to me.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm going
Oh
to grow
my
on you. You're
God.
going to fall in love with
Exactly.
me. Like, no.
No.
It doesn't work
So
like
fun. I
that.
was just talking to Jack about guys who just can't take no for an answer.
I know. I wish I was here for that one too.
Oh my! It was so funny, and it's not just guys, like as you were saying, like it's a problem across the
both
board.
sexes.
Wait,
Yeah.
actually tying these two together, and like, if you see this, whatever. So I was dating this guy, and we dated. Okay, so we met at LA Fitness when I was a member there. And this is on me for like ignoring the blaring red flags.
Oh,
like
no.
in Risa Tisa's words, the United Nations of red flags.
Oh bless.
Because I got a message from him on Instagram, or like a follower, and a message, and I didn't see that the message had said anything except hi. And so I kind of like looked at his profile picture, and I was like, oh, like he's a good looking guy, and he looks kind of familiar. I'm sure I had just seen him on the apps. So I like allowed him to follow me and requested to follow him back, whatever. The message was like, hey, I saw you on our gym's Instagram page because I like tagged my location. He's like, and I've seen you there, and I just thought you were really cute. I wanted to introduce myself. Okay, normal enough, whatever.
Yeah.
We date for 3 months. I won't go into the story of that because it doesn't really matter. And then he's like, I think this is moving too fast, and like we should be done.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. Weird to do it over a text, but okay. So then he continues to message me every single day. And he's like, look at this conversation I'm having on Hinge. And I'm like, in what world is this appropriate, right?
What?
So I was going to New York for 2 months to work and all that. And this is around the same time I had started my NASM certification.
Uh-huh.
And so I had made a joke. I was like, yeah, I want to work at Equinox. Like, I got to be a trophy wife somehow.
Yeah.
And he kind of like laughed it off, whatever. I go to New York and I tell him, I'm like, you need to stop speaking to me. Like, this is incredibly unfair. You ended things. You're reaching out. He's like, yep, I totally understand. I hear you. I won't speak to you anymore. Cool. I'm in New York and I get a Snapchat from him. For one, receiving a Snapchat from a grown man is always a red flag. Let's just start there.
Hey, no disrespect to Snapchat.
No disrespect to Snapchat. All the
That's
disrespect
cool.
to grown men.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Let's be clear. Snapchat, we love you. Grown
Yes.
men.
That's a different story.
That's a different story.
Depends
So,
on the snap. If it's a picture,
right,
don't
but the
open it.
Snapchat was a photo of
Okay.
him signing an Equinox membership agreement
Oh, okay.
after I told him I had wanted to work out there or to work there.
Okay, that's OD.
Right? So I started my job at Equinox in 2021. I actually started at the front desk because I was like, I want to see if this is a brand I want to see myself growing in. And I picked a location knowing that he would not be there because I was like, I can't run into this guy. So whatever, that happens. I'm doing some of my onboarding at the Encino location. I'm seeing him all the time. I'm like, okay, he lives in this area. He's definitely going to be at my club when my club opens because I was opening a new one. And we open this club. Day 1, day 2, he's there. I'm like, that's
Oh,
fine.
God.
It's a new place. He just
That's some
wants to see it.
stalker shit right there.
A full year, every single day this man showed up. He drove so far out of his way, so far past where he worked,
No.
to the point where my clients were like, that guy is staring at us. And I was like,
No way.
I know that guy. I dated him. But he has me blocked on everything. Yet, showed up at my work every single
People
day
are
for
so
a year.
weird.
Wait, is the
Did
restraining
not
order
speak
still
to
active?
me. Did not speak to me.
I
That was
would've
the
ran to the
weirdest
courthouse.
part.
And didn't
That
speak.
is
So he just wanted to be in your face. He just wanted to
He
be
just
in your
wanted to be in
eyesight
my-
to be like, hey, I'm still here.
But it was one of those things where I was like, oh, you couldn't keep tabs on me because you blocked me on everything. So now you're just keeping tabs on me in person. Is that what this is? Or like,
What do you
is
call
this
that
some
behavior?
weird...
Creepy.
But I was like, is this some weird end game? Or like, he never spoke to me. And the last time I saw him, this is on me. I'm a crier. So I was crying.
Uh-huh.
It was 6 a.m. I was crying and I just stared into this man's soul like, never come here again. And he never did. And then he
Scared
canceled
him
his
off.
membership. But yeah, so that's the marriage of...
Are you an ugly crier?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I was, you
I
know
was gonna say,
what?
maybe that
It's like
did
a talent
It was
to
like-
pretty cry.
I was crying. It was like I was crying the night before and I woke up and it was just puffy. It was a puffy
Okay.
face.
Puffy face. Yeah, yeah.
But I don't
Perfect,
know.
it worked.
It something changed and he was like, all right, bye. Like, but that's the marriage of the guy who can't take no for an answer and being a personal trainer. That is a weird thing about like personal training. I don't know if it's the same. Well, maybe private as well, because like you do so much online. Anyone can just come into your space.
Yeah. You
Like,
can't. You don't really know until you start training them.
Yeah.
And like I love my female clients. Don't get me wrong, but like you said, it's good to set your intentions first.
Yeah.
Like just be like, hey, you know, I find you attractive.
And have clear boundaries.
Yeah, and I'm like, people that do
Wow.
that will be like, I'm interested in coaching, and then they'll DM me later and be like, hey, I just find you really attractive. I'm like, okay, do you really want coaching, or you just want to meet me? I'm like, just be upfront with your intentions.
People are so strange. Like
Yeah.
the number
bizarre.
one thing that because of course, like I always ask people to like send in questions or stories
Yeah.
for each episode, and the number one thing that I got from so many people was that they're so afraid of getting a personal trainer because they're so afraid of like sweating on someone or farting on someone, or
What?
like they're like concerned like so self-conscious
Farting on
about their
someone?
own like bodily functions
That is so funny.
that they like won't. And it's so funny because I also have had so many bodily function stories sent to me.
Oh,
so like
Oh, the worst. I think it's almost so. I've had the sweatiest clients in the world, and one of my clients knew how sweaty he was, and he got this thing called sweet sweat, which was supposed to make him sweat more.
Oh, I love sweet sweat.
And he told, sure, I'm sure it's great, but he looked at me and he goes, "Don't worry, I'm not going to use it here." And I was literally like, "Oh, thank God," because I had days I would wear a raincoat to train with him. But he knew. Like, we had talked about this.
crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to
and-
Sports Research, by the way. I'm sponsored by them.
Oh.
Sweet sweat.
So if you need sweet
Sports
sweat,
Research.
brought to you by JR. No, and I mean, like, I have my hyperdose.
They have the belt and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got my stuff, but like, if you take care of yourself, right? Like, if you are a clean person, sweat all you want. There's one guy who would come into the gym, and I just called him Stinky Man.
To his face.
No.
Oh, okay.
But I would walk in and know that he was there
I wonder
before
what they
I
call
saw
me.
him.
Shit.
Oh bless.
So, like, the difference is, like, if your clothes are clean, if you wear deodorant, please
Please,
Oh, that's huge.
Please.
Deodorant and cologne, guys.
Please wear deodorant and please wash your gym clothes.
Wash your clothes.
Other than that, I don't care how much you sweat. But if I have to like be in your close proximity
Yeah.
and you are not clean, you can be clean and sweaty.
I have
a
a
turn
worse
off.
story for you.
I'm so scared. But as far as like
Be
the,
scared.
as far as the farting stuff goes, I've never noticed my clients farting, but I can tell you it is 100 times more embarrassing when I fart. And then I have to be like, well, I
Because
wonder
those-
who that was.
Is it because of the smell or the sound?
Well, like, I don't know.
Well,
I'm
actually-
a lot of protein powder.
Oh, God. It's a combination of both.
But
I'll give you. Sorry, I did not
go
mean
to the bathroom.
No.
I my ADHD. No. It's my
look, hot
excited.
girls have stomach issues. So
Human. We're all
what you
human.
want from
Humans in
me.
general.
Actually, I'll do.
Especially after the pre-workout. Like, I understand.
I'll do this story first, and I'll do the really bad one
Okay,
after.
I'm so scared.
So someone sent me a story about how they were training their client, and in the middle of the workout, their client just farted really loud, and they tried to ignore it, and they were like, they didn't want to embarrass them,
Totally.
but the client clearly, like, her face just went kind of pale, and she was clearly very embarrassed. So he just ignored it, pretended it didn't happen, and then all of a sudden, the client just kind of, sorry about that. I didn't mean to. It's fine. No, we're just gonna keep going on. She goes, well, it wasn't my fault. It was kind of involuntary, and he was like, it's fine. We're just gonna
Just move on,
move
keep it
on.
pushing,
It's
yeah.
okay. But she couldn't let it go.
It's embarrassing.
And
She's
that
voluntarily farting during a session.
Yeah.
she couldn't let it go, and that was making him like nervous smile. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
and so then she thought he
It's-
was laughing.
So then she thought he was laughing, and she just went off. Well, don't you know that it's a normal bodily function? Like, if you're just gonna make fun of me for having a bodily function, then I don't know if I want to come to you anymore. And I would just
man.
prefer a different trainer. And he's like, I'm not trying to laugh at you at all. You just won't stop talking about yourself farting, and it's
Yeah.
making me uncomfortable.
Right.
And this is just my nervous face. Like, I don't know what to say right now
my God.
to win. And she's like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to get a different trainer. And he never saw her again.
Wow.
People get really sensitive about that kind of stuff.
I have a tip for people who may fart or have to go to the bathroom or like at the gym.
Okay.
After you have your pre-workout meal, I don't know, do you have a pre-workout meal before you work out?
It depends when I work out and what I'm
Okay.
eating.
A lot of people eat a snack or something before they work out. I recommend doing an hour and a half before you work out so that your body has time to digest. But get some carbs or protein in there to give your body fuel. Go to the bathroom before you go to the gym. So you eat, drink plenty of fluids, take a number 2 before you go to the gym. And you don't have to worry about farting or having to go to the bathroom. It works every time,
Yeah.
even after you drink your pre-workout.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I will just ignore a fart. I don't care.
Yeah,
I really don't
I mean, I
care.
feel
There's
like
nothing
that's
worse,
what
than,
you're
nothing worse than
my-
holding it in.
my
Imagine doing like the leg
actually
press and
yeah.
holding it in. That hurts.
No, my favorite cue I give people is doing a deadlift. I say, so I get them into the position to lift, and I'm like, all right, from this position, I want you to hold in a fart. And it activates the right muscles, and I use it all the time. I'm like, all right, and then you're going to hold in a fart. And it gets, instead of being like, all right, so your glute med, and you're going to engage through your hamstrings, get an outward rotation through your pelvis. No, hold in a fart. And everyone laughs. I'm like, look, it's a universal
Yeah,
experience.
squeeze
We
those glutes.
all know the feeling.
Yeah.
Like, just that's what you're
It's
gonna
fine.
do. So I don't care. Like, I'm like, if you're farting, then you didn't deadlift fast enough. But I mean, you'll see people hit deadlift PRs and like poop themselves
What?
because of the intra-abdominal pressure. Like people that are lifting
Poor
crazy,
things.
or like, I mean, you don't see it in like most gyms. It's more like
No, yeah.
these crazy one-off stories or people passing out, like
Yeah.
blood flow. But like also gyms have we call them shower shitters.
Oh.
Yep.
What? Wait.
It's
That's
exactly what it sounds
disgusting.
like.
Happens at Equinox?
I'm not gonna
Does that
say
happen?
where it does or doesn't happen,
Ugh.
but
people poop in the shower?
shower shitters and the gyms are a thing.
Guys, don't do that. That's
So, like,
disgusting.
that's-
Wait, maybe it's in the female locker room, not the male locker room.
I can tell you one thing about gyms in general. I'm like working in different gyms and knowing people who work in different gyms. This is a universal commercial gym experience.
Okay.
Like you get shower shitters, and you
What?
get
Is there like a reason? Like,
and you
why
get
do they
weird
do
people
it?
doing things in saunas and steam rooms, like. And here's the thing, like, yes, respect your personal trainers, respect your maintenance teams,
Yeah.
like those.
So I'm never taking a shower in the gym again.
No.
After hearing
I
that.
do.
Oh my
I
god.
actually
Bring
don't
your
like it
shoes.
anyway. No.
Bring
Shower
shower
shoes.
shoes.
It's unsanitary.
No.
You don't know what people are
no,
doing
it
in
ruined
those.
it for me. No.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the gym. That depends on the gym.
Well, what happens at Equinox, so it can happen anywhere.
Well,
Well, you
I'm
didn't
not
say-
saying
you
it
didn't
does
say
or
that.
doesn't
Yeah,
we're
happen
not saying that
at
all.
Equinox.
Potentially could.
But like, would you take a shower at Burke Williams?
Yeah, Burke Williams is clean.
I'm sure they
It's a
have shower
massage
shitters.
parlor.
I'm sure.
No
they have
way.
shower- I'm
Don't
sure.
don't ruin Burke Williams
Burke
for
Williams
me.
do have
Stop.
shower shitters.
I don't know any of these places.
Stop.
I'm just
Burke
like,
Williams is a luxury spa.
It's luxury spa out here. It's a chain out here. Yeah.
That definitely has shower shitters.
well,
No way.
Are you ready for the gross story?
Yeah, well, is it grosser than what I just talked about?
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. Like
I'm
at
gonna
least
prepare
for me.
myself
for
mentally
me.
for
Okay,
this.
I'm ready.
This is like I had to pick this story out because I was like, this is the worst. This is the worst one. So this trainer had a guy who was like ready to put the work in, man, and was just so excited to get ready and just work out as hard as possible.
Yeah.
And like he was huffing and puffing and clearly like getting extremely fatigued and extremely tired. And he's like, guy, you gotta like take a break and go
Rest,
grab
yeah.
some water. Like you need water. He's no, I want to keep going. I really think you should take a second and you should go get some water. No, I don't need it. I'm gonna keep going. Like I'm ready. I'm in it.
Just threw up.
On
No.
the trainer.
I've seen videos of that.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say like the throwing up happens.
Really? Oh no. To me,
Oh, yeah.
puke
I've
is
seen
the
that.
worst bodily fluid
I've seen
that
that
exists
during squats
for
and
me.
deadlifts.
The
No.
throwing up
Yeah.
happens. Like I've never seen it on the gym floor. Like most people make it to the bathroom because they will be like, I'm super nauseous. But if someone threw up on me,
Done. Fired. Bye.
witness protection.
Yep.
I'm like I'm
Witness
faking my
protection.
own death.
Yeah,
the government
no.
is gonna have to protect me. I don't know where I'm going, but
To me, puke is the worst bodily fluid that exists, and you cannot change my mind.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like I think if a grown man threw up on me,
I don't know. Shit is up there with puke.
yeah, I was gonna say like working with babies because I worked with children for a really long
Oh,
time.
so chill.
Working with children for a long time.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about I love that this is the topic.
Tell me. I'm ready.
I would so much rather have a baby throw up on me than blow out a diaper on me.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
I could see that.
I don't want either. That's why I'm not having children.
Would you rather?
But I would really have to think about it, to be honest.
That's okay. We can talk about it at Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
I'd rather deal with a dirty diaper. No, I'd rather deal with puke than a dirty diaper.
100%.
It's just disgusting.
100%. But,
I have to think about it.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, in a gym, right, there's ways to deal with vomit. Like, you have the powder and, like,
She doesn't like this
all
topic.
that stuff. I know. You brought it up.
I know, but my body is like having a visceral reaction.
Okay, well, we can change the topic.
No, tell me, King.
There's one guy that wears gym jeans.
What?
Jeggings?
No. Jeans.
Just
like
regular
Levi's
jeans.
505, like 501.
He's not serious then.
No,
Maybe
he's
he's just in construction
the
or
best
something.
part is, I love this man so much. He comes to the gym in one pair of jeans, and he goes into the locker room and changes into his gym jeans. And then he wears a different pair of jeans out of the locker room.
That's next level crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Yes.
Like, I love
must be
people
trying to
watching
impress
at the gym.
someone.
I absolutely
That's
love
so
seeing
weird.
what people wear to the gym. At all gyms.
People are
I just picture him like
strange.
shirtless with jeans
No,
on.
just like black t-shirt.
Oh.
I hope he's like really getting the results that he wants and is so comfortable doing it.
I just like,
Jeans just suck.
I don't.
I want to know more about this guy now. Does he have a beard?
No.
Is he like burly?
No.
Does he look like he swings an axe? That's my picture him in
Like we're
jeans.
playing
That's
a
what I'm
weird guest
picturing.
here. It's just
my
like,
gosh.
honestly, I always just kind of assumed that he came from work. And then my client goes,
Then
you
he
know that guy
changes it.
changes into those jeans?
What
and I was
the
like, what? He goes,
fuck?
I was in there with the locker room with him today.
I'm
and
gonna
I
talk
watched
to this
him
guy
change
now. Like, what's the
into gym
psychology
jeans.
behind that?
I just need to know
Jeans are
why.
uncomfortable.
Gene Man, if you're listening.
Well, I see
Yeah.
a lot of
Answer these
people wear
questions.
jeans to the gym.
Never.
What?
I've never seen
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh, my gosh. When I was at, like, LA Fitness, I used to see some of the most crazy things in the world.
Like what? Okay, I need some examples.
That was a good sigh. Good for me. Like, there was one guy who would come at night and just, like, full speed ram himself into the boxing bags. Like, just, like, I was like, I don't know what he's training for. But, and sometimes he
What
would, like,
the
run and
fuck?
jump on him. And, like, I was like, he's, like, full on training for, like, street fighting.
Stunt man or something.
I
What?
was just like, so what I've noticed in my years of going to the gym, working in gyms, all of that, the people who come in the morning are there to prepare for their day.
Yeah.
The people who come at night are there to deal with their day.
I like that.
Two very different energies coming in.
That is a great analogy.
Yes.
I like that.
The people in the morning are coming in.
People at night are fighting demons.
They're fighting their demons.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I have one more question. And it's
Amazing.
mostly for you.
Okay.
I don't think you'd have this experience as you're not a woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming fitness is a male-dominated field, right? Is that a correct assumption?
Yes. I'm going to say yes and ask the second part of your question and I'll elaborate.
Have you, like, what has been your experience? Like, have you had dudes? I'm trying to circle back to that one story.
Okay.
You know what story I'm talking about at the beach.
Oh, yes, but I don't really remember.
That's okay.
What happened? I remember it was about nutrition.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, like,
I'll ask the question.
yes, ask the question.
Have you experienced, like, people, usually men, that, like, think you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to fitness because you're a woman?
Yes. So, I'm going to, like, about the fitness being a male-dominated industry, there are a significantly more amount of males in the fitness industry. When you're looking at, like, podcasts about fitness, when you're looking at research done, you're looking at professional athletes, it's a heavily male-dominated industry. That being said, the demand for women in that industry is significantly higher. So I get more requests for female trainers than I do for male trainers any given day. Like, there is a very high demand for women in this industry. Like, I have my pre and postnatal certification, so I work a lot with with pregnant women and postpartum.
Congratulations, yeah.
Thank you. It's been awesome. So, like, there is such a need for it, especially as women are being like, oh, I should go to the gym, and oh, I don't have to be thin. I can be strong. I can be a muscle mommy. Or like, oh, my body is going to go through a lot in labor. Like, I should get ready, you know? So that is, like, kind of where I'm like, it is male dominated, but there is a energetic shift happening in the industry right now with a demand for more women. It hasn't really flipped to where there is an equal amount for just talking sheer volume.
Definitely bridging the gap.
Yes.
Which is good. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I love it. Yeah.
It's
We're crushing it right now.
Yeah. And I love just like, especially being in LA when you have like the early 2000s, 90s female body type that was like literally sick and like just running on cocaine.
On muscle. I go with the females in the gym all the time. I'm like, can I do leg day with you? Like, your legs look amazing.
Yeah.
Like, there's females out here that are natural or just crushing it. And there are examples for both sexes. Sometimes I have females coming up to train with me, and I pass them off to female trainers. Like, no, go train with her.
Yeah.
She knows what she's talking about.
Totally.
More so than me.
Different vibes.
Yeah.
Different specialties for sure. As far as, like, I got it a lot online. So, like, I'm not an influencer.
That's okay.
You
should be. But
never have been. And
You're just
probably,
my friend.
Yeah. I influence people in real life.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love that.
Motivate people.
My entire friend group is influencers. I'm not
Poor
one.
you.
No, it's okay. It's really fun because every time you all get stopped, it's like, I love your videos. I go, oh, thanks. I put a lot of work into them. It's really hard to be a celebrity. But I decided to like start a specific fitness page and a specific, like for Instagram and TikTok. I don't have like any followers, and that's fine. But when I started posting on TikTok, I had like all these guys in my comments and women too being like, your form is bad. And I was like,
the form police.
my form's actually it's not. Like, I work with
Let me see your
a
form.
certified kettlebell trainer on my swings. I'm not going to explain that to strangers. And like immediately I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I don't have the
Patience.
Yeah, I have the skin for it. I don't have the energy for it, to be honest, where I'm
Just
like,
ignore
okay.
those people. Like, who cares?
I do, but I'm like, if
They're just
this is the
haters.
audience that I'm reaching, I don't want to like exhaust myself.
I like the hate.
When I will say when I first
have enough hate
started,
for myself.
my demographics were 80% male.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. But now I'm 70% women, and I'm much happier. So your target audience could be different.
Yeah.
My Instagram, I have like 667 followers. Oh yeah, I mean I've had it for so long, but that's like my fitness one. My personal one is the one I always give out because I'm like, oh, just take this one. My demographic on that, like my audience is 75% male, and I know again this comes back to the fact that it's like, oh, this is a woman in her gym clothes.
Yeah.
Like, cool, right? Whatever. Anyway, the point being, that's where I got more of that energy of like, you don't know what you're talking about because you're a woman, or you don't know what you're talking about because you're not a bodybuilder. And I see it on other women's Instagrams as well. Like, I follow Dr. Susie Squats, who is a physical therapist. She's incredible. She's super knowledgeable. And people are always up in her comments being like, well, you don't look like you're an athlete.
Who cares?
And it's like, well, one, athletes all look completely different. Like, if you look at the guy that just set the new world record for squatting, he squatted 1,092.8 pounds, I think.
That's insane.
I mean, that guy looks like he's about to drop dead. Like, genuinely, like, power lifters are some of the most, like, conventionally out of shape people
I haven't seen them.
you will ever see.
Can we pull them up?
Oh, man. I mean, it should be like me. Let me find this.
While you're finding that, I want to say that a lot of people are certified and they've gone through tons of schooling and they know what they're talking about. So never just judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
A lot of people look fit and their personal trainer. People look fit and could look fit and not know anything, not be certified, and you're just going based off of looks.
Send it to me,
A
bro.
lot of the top trainers and physical therapists, they have tons of schooling. They may not look like your typical bodybuilder, but they know what they're talking about. They're training some of the top athletes in the world just purely based off of knowledge.
Yeah, I can't find it, but I will find it and I will send it to both of you and
No,
you
I
can see
love
it
that.
because like you look at these power lifters and everyone's like, wow, this person is not healthy, and they're not, because they're just looking at caloric intake to expenditure. It doesn't matter what they're eating as long as they hit their calories, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what the energy that they have to expend then. So I do see a lot of that. I don't necessarily get it like in person. I think especially just in the demographic that I've reached out to with who my clients are and like the area I'm in, like my clients all see me working out, so they know what I'm capable of. But what Rebecca's hinting at was last year we were playing beach volleyball, which I'm really good at. Because
I watch. I'm really good at watching.
no,
volleyball.
I'm really good at it because this is public record. So like I'm really good at beach volleyball. I'm just as good at beach volleyball as I am at disc golf.
Disc golf.
Oh yeah.
I keep calling back to
Are
disc
you
golf. I
certified
love
in
a
beach
good-
volleyball?
I'm not certified in beach
Not yet,
volleyball,
okay.
but
If there's a one you can swipe your credit card for, she will.
exactly. Yes, exactly. But I don't even remember how it came up. But we were talking about nutrition, and I was just having like the most aggravating conversation. That was a point I like had a breaking point where I was like, you know what, just believe whatever you want. And it was like someone had asked me something about it, and another man interjected about his opinion about nutrition. You have to help me out here because I'm
I
struggling.
think it had something to do with calories.
Yes.
I just can't remember exactly what it was, but you were explaining like about caloric intakes and you were explaining about like energy levels, and this guy just comes in and was like, no, you're wrong. And you looked at him and you're like,
this is what I do for a living.
yeah, this is my job. And he's like, yeah, but I've Googled. And
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's what it was. I wish I remembered the details because I was having like a conversation about
Way.
maybe caloric volume or maybe it's one of these fad diets that like just do your research.
Just some random guy came up and interjected.
Well, I mean, he was in our group.
yeah, he
okay.
was there.
But I just remember the part of the memory I do have is going back and Rebecca being like, that was incredible.
You shut him down.
She was like, the fact that you just looked at him and said, this is my job.
Schooled him.
Walked away. Like, I wish I remembered what it was. But just always do your research. Always ask a professional. And don't judge a book by its cover. There are a lot of people out there who really just have good genetics. There are a lot of people out there who are lying. And there are a lot of people out there who are just like absolutely starving themselves. So whatever you see, always take it with a grain of salt.
I love that.
If you're moving well and eating right, your body is going to look exactly how it's supposed to.
Right.
I love
Like,
that.
everyone's different.
Yeah.
I love that. Any other last thoughts that you want to give everyone?
Any
JR?
last words?
Last words before
Yeah.
cheesecake?
Just piggyback on that. It's all about what your goals are. Like, you don't have to look like a 5-star athlete to be healthy. Just baby steps. If you want to lose weight, you want to get active, baby steps. Start with 5,000 steps a day, work your way up to 10,000. Start with, subtracting 500 calories from your diet, and then getting down to what you need to get to feel good and get in shape. You don't have to go from 0 to 1,000. Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The same goes for our bodies. And be consistent, be determined. If you want the results, you have to put the work in. And don't compare yourself to anyone else. A lot of people are comparing themselves to other influencers or celebrities.
Could you imagine if I compared myself to JR?
I mean, you guys do look so similar. Very similar body types.
Like,
yeah.
if we switch seats
You
right
could
now.
be twins.
That's the difference.
Yeah. It's the tattoos.
Everybody's body is unique, and you can't even compare your training to someone else's. So just learn yourself, learn what you want to do, and apply that to yourself. If you don't know what you're doing, get a coach. You can tap in with either of us or whoever you feel comfortable with. A lot of people try to go blind or YouTube videos, Instagram. That's not the way to go. Just get a coach. They'll help you get your results faster.
Yeah. And like on that, like definitely don't be afraid to ask questions. If you do have people in your life that are in this industry, please ask questions. If like a coach is out of your budget, I get it. A coach is out of my budget. Like there's a reason I signed a W-2 and not a contract. Like I get it. So asking questions, being smart about your research, being smart about who you follow. And also if you are on that fence of like, well, I could afford it, but I'd rather do A, B, C, or D. Like it's an investment in your health. And I always tell people like a personal training session is cheaper than an ER bill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
if you are in a spot where you are having chronic illnesses, like not to be like, woo, but one of the reasons I got into personal training is because I do have so many chronic illnesses and I do have like a lot of autoimmune issues, and I felt like so out of control over my own body as it was actively attacking itself.
Yeah.
And this was a way that gave me back some of that control and helped neutralize all of those things as well. It was just like refocusing my fitness, refocusing my diet, refocusing my stress levels. So if you are able to make the investment and you're scared, you're just getting started, like reach out. We are here. We love to help people. That's why we did it.
Yep.
And like, even if it's just, you can afford it for a month, you can afford it for 2 months, like get those basics in so you can actually get the results you want and you're not just figuring it out and risking injury or wasting your time.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Well said.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Like, I learned so much. Like, genuinely.
Yeah, this was
Thank
fun.
you so much
Yeah,
for
this
hanging
was
out with
fun.
me today. I am like, my brain is just right now. I genuinely have learned so much. So thank you guys. And thank you all for hanging out with all of us. I hope you have a great rest of your day and hope to see you all next week. Bye, my lovelies.
Bye.